I'm going to talk about an academic paper that is called Global Modeling of Nature's Contributions to People. This type of paper, I found it in a scientific magazine called Science, and the audience of this type of text is for students, professionals, or people interested in making policy about climate change or global warming. The purpose of this text, like the author said, is to inform that the magnitude of the global change demands a rapid assessment in nature and its contributions to people. These texts have a format based on three different visuals. The first, that represents a conceptual framework that the researchers use to calculate the nature's contributions to people. The second one is this, and this is used to show the global variability in nature's contribution to people in terms of water quality regulation, coastal risk reduction, and crop pollination. The third visual is this, and this image shows us the number of people that are impacted by future conditions in different countries with the change of ecosystems. These texts have approximately 15 paragraphs, have 21 references of different types. At the final, it have some acknowledgements and supplementary materials that the authors give to us. The structure or organization of this article is principally the article is divided in three parts. The first part is an introduction. In the introduction, the authors include a little abstract. In the second part is like the analysis of the results of the research, and the authors divided that into questions. The first question is, where is nature currently contributing most to people? And the second question is, how many people may be affected and where by future changes? And finally, the article gives us a conclusion about the research. The first part, the introduction, have like 5 paragraphs. The second one, the results have 8 paragraphs, and the conclusion have like 2 paragraphs. Each section have a function. The function of the introduction is to give us general information and an abstract of what is going to be the text, and also gives us a conceptual framework and a methodology of the calculations of the results. The second part has the function of giving us the results of the researches. The results of the research. It gives us the recollected data and a visual perspective of the results. Finally, the conclusions give us a feedback about the research. In these conclusions, the author says that a further work is needed to move beyond the research, and that the research is useful to the implementation of policies. Okay, so about the most common patterns, the texts have a content about climate change, global warming, and nature's contributions to people. It talks about future changes in the world, and all of this is based on three scenarios. The first is water quality regulation, the second is coastal risk reduction, and the third is crop pollination. This is related with the need of peoples in terms of water quality regulation. Is related with a regulation of drinking water quality. Coastal risk reduction is related to coastal risk reduction of hazards such as erosion and flooding. And the third, crop pollination is related to wild pollination crops for human nutrition. The text use rhetorical appeals to connect with the audience that is reading. First, the authors use the ethos in terms of the authority. I think that the fact that the text is published in a scientific magazine convinces the audience that the authors are qualified to speak on the subject. Also, the authors use logos when they present us the different visuals and graphics that I show to you. And finally, the authors use pairos in terms of when they talk about the issues of climate change and global warming, that is something that have an emotional response for part of the audience, because it's something that is happening like nowadays, and we see everywhere. About the structure of the text is based on visuals. The format of the text, as you could see here, is divided in 3 columns, 1, 2, and 3. It has a lot of visuals. It has a title, a topic that is ecosystem services, the different authors, the abstract, and finally it has the references, the acknowledgements, and the supplementary content. Okay, the syntax of the article is composed by long sentences in each paragraph. These sentences are conformed by a subject, a verb, an object, and the complementary content. The diction or the style of writing is a formal diction. This type of diction is appropriate to the topic that the authors are showing to us, because this is an academic type of writing. About the visual style, like I said before, the authors shows the results of the research through visuals, and are like 3 types of visual. The first type is a chart. This is. The second type is a geographic visual, and the last one is a graphic visual. These texts use different elements of cohesions. The first is that in the text they use references, principally two. It makes reference to the Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform of Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, or IPBES, and also to the Shared Socioeconomic Pathways, or SSP. Also, the authors use causal and temporal conjunctions. They use lexical cohesions when they repeat that the studies are based on water quality regulation, coastal risk reduction, and crop pollination. The verb tense that is right, the article is on present and future perfect tense. The tone and register of the article, it have a formal register because of the technical context, and it has a serious tone. The most common expressions that the authors use is we consider, to address, although, and yet. It have three steps, three moves, three writing moves. The first is that to establish the territory, the authors gives an abstract of the article. The next, they review items of previous research. They say that it is not complete, and then they gives us a framework about the calculation of the results. The second move is that to establish a niche, the authors makes the two questions that I said before to operationalize nature's contribution to people. And move three, to occupy the niche. The authors use visuals to show the results of the two questions. They announce the principal findings that the results gives. And finally, they give the conclusions of the article to encourage other researchers to continue investigating. I think these moves are structurally important to the audience in terms of understanding the article. Thanks.